Welcome, everybody. We are here with a distinguished guest, Mr. Andrew Starks from Macnica, opening a new forum for discussion here at the IP Showcase in the way of a sponsored presentation. So we're looking forward to hearing what he has to say, specifically about building an open standards ecosystem. So take it away, Andy.
All right, thank you, Wes. I'm going to take just a second to keep my Ames hat on here for a minute and consider myself the guinea pig for these sponsored presentations. I hope that you all at Ames enjoy watching these and consider them for your company in the future. I think they're a great way to promote not only standards, but also the work that each of our companies are doing with the standards. So with that, I will begin the inaugural sponsored presentations here at IP Showcase. So first, I would like to just explain who Macnica is very briefly. I like to think of Macnica as the $7 billion company you may never have heard of before. We're a worldwide distributor. We're actually the 5th largest in the world of electronic components in various industries. We also have a number of other businesses that are part of the Macnica family. We are a part of the segment that makes original products. So while our parent company is a distributor, we make original products. In short, Macnica Americas, which is what we're part of, loves standards, and we've been involved with them for more than 10 years now. We're members of Ames, AMWA, and VSF. And if you want to know kind of where we sit in the product chain, the standards are on the far left. We make components and software development kits for manufacturers and developers that go on to make end-user products. We see in standards what most people see, and that is tremendous growth, especially when the standard has something to do with the fundamental technology, the industry that it's involved in. If you think way back before there were standardized gauges, trains were kind of a novelty. Standardized Stephenson gauges came out, and then the Industrial Revolution and expansion of the West happened. Globalization came from shipping containers, and of course, Internet Protocol and TCP/IP, and those groups of standards, the TCP or the IP protocol suite, gave birth to the information age and the Internet as we know it. In the Pro AV world, and to some extent even in the live production world, open standards are, of course, here and very successful. They have yet to expand out as far as they really as they really could, right? So we're starting to see that revolution happen in IP. There's an awful lot of SD gear out there. There's some proprietary standards and other markets out there that still exist, but we're starting to see that wave happen. But the interesting part for Macnica is that as we work within the open standards worlds, we don't get that protection of having a proprietary standard where we get lock-in and all that sort of stuff. We have to compete, and we're happy to compete, I should say, with all of the other people that are benefiting from the open standards. So how is it that as a company, we're able to, to make a business model and provide value to our customers that that's unique to Macnica? And because of that dynamic, we really have two things that we rely on. And I wanted to kind of talk about our products a little bit in terms of that. So how is it that Macnica uses open standards and is part of the open standards community at the same time we make products and value for other people? And basically, we really rely on two things. One is we rely on explosive growth. We need there to be a rush of people that want to adopt the new standards. And paradoxically, we also, not paradoxically, but also relatedly, we need to be there and knowledgeable about the standards from the very beginning. And that means getting involved and being part of the process of bringing those standards to light. And a little example, I like to go really deep into this, but this will be an abbreviated version. That I like to illustrate this, I'd like to talk about something called the Kondraty wave. And it was originally kind of used to observe the different modes of power and modes of technology that kind of drive civilizations. You can see we start with water power, going to steam power and electric power. And as each one of those waves of technology comes about, there's a familiar pattern that comes into play. And essentially, you start off with science projects and curiosity, and you sort of migrate through different, different parts of that curve there. But as you can see, the old technology, is actually better than the new technology to start with, until the new technology sort of overtakes. And you go from having things that kind of barely work to having some pretty good proprietary solutions that do work, but they're not interoperable. And as people start to see the real benefit of it, things really explode once an open standard comes about. And that's when you start to see people drop the old technology, bring in the new technology, and then the old technology is more or less kind of in a maintenance mode. And that's certainly what we're depending on at Macnica, and what I think the rest of the industry is kind of depending on as well. I made my own Kondrati wave for video, and I'm not going to go through any of this here, but I just wanted to show it in case you want to argue about it and send me an email about what I missed or my wave is wrong in some way. That's cool. I like that. But the first thing we need in this whole story is great standards. And Macnica's passion for open standards and video, that means SMPTE 2110, AES, NMOS, RIST, and also the collection of some of those things organized into different profiles, that is IPMX. And so those are the standards that we're involved in. Of course, those are the standards, of course, that AIMS and VSF and AMWA are also involved in. So those are the groups of standards that really comprise our solution for AV over IP and manufacturers looking to make products with open standards transport. The second thing that an open standard, a new open standards needs is early implementations. And of course, Macnica is one of a few companies making some of these early implementations. For us, we have what's called the launch kit, or the MPA 1000 launch kit. Now, our launch kit, we really wanted to focus on accessibility. We wanted to make sure that somebody that wanted to make a product with IPMX, or even if they just wanted to follow along the standards as the standards are getting developed, we wanted to make sure that they had the most accessible path towards learning and building products with a standard. So our dev kit includes everything from the network switch, very inexpensive network switch. We have a little server that serves up NMOS, so you can test an NMOS environment. Basically, this is everything you need to create a small IPMX environment, all for just under $2,000. You can fit it on a credit card. Your boss isn't even going to recognize or see it. Just expense it. You'll be fine. Carrie's laughing at me. But no, our dev kit is we like to think of it as a great on-ramp for IPMX. Just getting into a little bit of the details of our MPA 1000. So our launch kit, at the heart of our launch kit is something called the ME10, and it's a system on a chip that is basically an IPMX stack. And if you look at the left side, you can see sort of a conceptualized chip there. That's our ME10 SoC. It's got a Linux stack, which runs our software layer. It's also got accelerated IPMX transport, including compression with JPEG-XS. And all of the other I/O ports that you would need for a variety of products. Our APIs are kind of innovative in that at the heart of our environment for developing software on there, we've included a Lua scripting environment. And this makes the ME10 the easiest thing in the world to play with. If you know how to script using JavaScript or Python, Lua is going to be very familiar or very, very easy to language to pick up. And it has complete access to our SoC. So not just like a subset, but the entire SoC and everything that you can do with it is included with in that environment. You can, write the back-end server for your web application. You can implement protocols like IR protocols or serial protocols with Lua. And rapid development and easy experimentation are really are two strengths of that approach. Included with the ME10 and our dev kits is a customizable web application, source code included. We also have a whole bucket full of sample applications that take advantage of our API and Lua. We include a REPL, or read, evaluate, print, loop. And basically, that's like a command line interface where you can actually program in it. The scripting language is right in there, and you can test and debug and play with things on there as well. So the ME10 SoC, what we've envisioned in that is early IPMX products. What are people going to want to see early on? Of course, gateway products are key. Our target for the ME10, it includes USB support, for KVM applications and HDCP and all the things that you would need in a Pro AV gateway. We envision it being used in cameras. There's plenty of room and plenty of processing power available in our ARM10 processor for communicating with motor controllers and things like that. We also see card frames like OpenGear and multi video processors being able to take advantage of the ME10 as well. Now, when you have standards, you also need interoperable implementations for the established standards, and of course, Macnica has that as well. So long before we started our IPMX journey, Macnica was involved in early SMPTE 2022 and then SMPTE 2110. And we've created a very robust IP for SMPTE 2110, multi-channel IP for SMPTE 2110 that works well on from 10 gigs, 25 gigs, all the way up to 100 gigs. And in fact, at the show at IBC this year, we showed our work with a partnership with Intel to show a smart NIC card that's a 100 gigabit NIC card that's doing multi-channel ST2110 in and out. And in our little demonstration, we had OBS there, but of course, any kind of application can be built on such an architecture. For us, we're looking at IPMX as well for these kinds of cards as well in the future. But right now, our technology preview is focused on just the SMPTE 2110 applications. So Macnica has this IP in thousands of devices around the world. Of course, because we're a component manufacturer, all of those sales included an NDA, so I can't share the big names with you, but you can probably guess a few of them given where our company is located. But having interoperable implementations that pass the JT&M tested events, as ours have, I should have put a JT&M judge up there, sorry, my marketing manager's nodding at me, is critical. Oh, in fact, this is a picture of the demo at IBC. I should have gone to this one. In the post-transition world, after you've got interoperable implementations, what people really want with IP is they want to see systems that work like the web. They want to have control over systems across different networks. They want to be able to go from on-premise to off-premise easily and simply. And they want to do it in a way that they can build a scalable system that is flexible, right? And that's certainly Macnica's vision as well. We have software implementations that we're demonstrating that include very, very low latency compliant ST2110 and IPMX in and out of computer implementation. And our vision is, of course, includes the cloud and virtualized environments and going back and forth between them. And a key element of that is having a consistent API across each one of those different platforms that you're developing for. And that's an important feature that Macnica is really proud of, is that we're providing a consistent SDK interface or user interface or API, application programming interface for developers, whether they're on our SoC, they're working with our IP, or they're working with our software implementations. So in conclusion, in order for a company like Macnica to take advantage of the open standards movements and the disruptive change that those bring, we have to have a great set of standards. We've done that. There needs to be the early implementation so that people can plan and play with it and build the early prototypes and proof of concepts and the early products. We've got that with the ME10 and the launch kit. And we also have to have interoperable implementations that are stable and work really well. We, of course, have that with our SMPTE 2110 IP and our ESYS 10 evaluation kit. And we also have a vision for the future where we can take full advantage of the full depth and breadth that the internet and IP technology brings us, and that's certainly where we're headed in the future. So thanks for listening, and if you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to visit us at macnicatech.com.